Hi, this is Mike Pettigrew, and today I'd like to talk about the secret to perpetual youth. The secret to perpetual youth. For thousands of years, humanity has been looking for the secrets to perpetual youth, and recent breakthroughs in modern science means that maybe in the future it will be possible to slow down aging. But that's not the sort of youth that I'm talking about. I'm talking about how do we keep youthful and invigorated and enthusiastic throughout our lives? How do we remain full of zest, life force, enthusiasm, and how do we remain empowered for the rest of our lives? This is really, really important, because I've known people in their 90s who are as youthful as a 20 or 30-year-old, and I've known people in their early and mid-20s who are as old as a 90-year-old. So there really must be something that enables human beings to remain youthful, to stay full of energy and life force and the joy of living. On the other hand, there are things that make us close down and not feel any enjoyment in our lives. And what I've seen in so many cases, young people in their mid-20s and 30s, they close down because life is tough. Life is full of challenges and hardships, and after a while we can end up just feeling deflated, and what's the point, and more, we just see more of the same, challenge after challenge, and encountering all sorts of challenges one after another. We can just end up feeling totally disempowered and wondering what the hell is the purpose in our lives anyway. So that really is what I mean by becoming old while we're still young. On the other hand, my dad is a perfect example of this. He's almost 87 and he's very youthful. He's full of energy and passion for life. And it really comes down to, I've seen this in so many cases, this drive, this energy, this enthusiasm for life, this self-empowerment, this vibrancy, it comes down to a few very important factors. And one of these is lifelong learning. I heard a very disturbing statistic back in the late 1990s, and it may even be worse at this point in 2014. But what I heard, the statistic that I heard in the late 1990s was that in the US, 90% of children who leave school never read a book for the rest of their lives. That is unbelievably worrying. And I'm sure it's the same in many countries. 90% of people not reading after they leave school. And this really is a tragedy when young people stop learning. So lifelong learning is incredibly important. When we constantly challenge ourselves and make efforts to learn new things and to engage with the world, it really empowers us in all sorts of different ways. Also, it's really important to be moving forwards in our lives, to always be setting new goals that stretch our lives, that challenge us, that enable us to grow new qualities. This is also a really important factor in keeping us youthful and full of zest and life force. The fact is that if we don't have clear goals in our lives, then we stagnate. It becomes more of the same, and life can become very boring and very painful. But when we constantly set new goals for ourselves and make efforts to bring those goals into fruition, our lives, it gives us energy, it gives us empowerment, it's self-empowerment. So goal setting is incredibly important, and being consistent in making efforts to achieve those goals for ourselves and also for others. Now, another really, really important factor in staying youthful is developing gratitude, because there are really only two sides of the coin: appreciation or resentment, gratitude or complaint. And at any time in our lives, at every moment, I feel we are veering towards one or the other. So when we complain about our lives or about another person, instantly it lowers our life condition. Instantly it disempowers us. Instantly it makes us feel worse. But If we can start working at developing gratitude by using many of the things that you'll discover on this website, in other videos that I've created about gratitude, if we make efforts to grow gratitude and to start appreciating the things, even the small things in our lives, then everything changes. Everything changes. It immediately brings a sparkle into our lives. And even artificial gratitude works. Even artificial. We don't need to feel sincerely grateful to actually use the power of gratitude. Just simply remembering a time in the past where we felt sincere gratitude, that's enough to unstick us from whatever emotional state we're in right now. So please do test these gratitude exercises for yourself, because they're incredibly powerful. So that's lifelong learning, developing gratitude, but there's also a third really important component that I see in all of this, in remaining youthful and buoyant in our lives, and that is taking on mentors, because it's a fact that during our lifetime of 70, 80, 90 years, there's very little that we can learn under our own steam. There are only so many things that we can learn during our lifetime through our own direct experiences. Therefore, if we want to become really happy, if we want to become really empowered, if we want to achieve great things for our lives and become really happy, we have no option but to seek out great mentors and to learn from great people who have done it before. This is really, really important, and it took me a long time to understand this concept of mentors. An example would be a master craftsman. If you meet any master craftsman, they will always have had an outstanding teacher, because becoming a master craftsman, you can't achieve it just by yourself. You need to take on the understanding of another person who has been along the path before you. And this really is the evolution of humanity, and this is the evolution of science. As our society progresses over time, we build on the understanding of those who went before, okay? And it's the same in our own personal lives. If we want to really become all that we're capable of becoming, we really need to seek out and learn from great mentors, and be really, really choosy, really, really picky. Be very skeptical, because there are a lot of so-called mentors out there, and a lot of them can be very misleading. So please seek out the very best mentors, world-class mentors. Now, before I go, I'd really like to invite you to fill out the form at the side of this page. All you need to do is enter your name and your email address. But when you do this, you get access, lifetime access, and it's completely free, lifetime access to our members only section. And in the members only section are lots of videos and training materials that you won't find on the public website, but you have lifetime access. And I really feel that when you fill out the form at the side of the page and get access to this section of our website, it will help you to stay motivated, to gain more empowerment, to gain more joy in your life, and I believe it will help you to always keep moving forwards. So thanks so much for watching this short video. Please fill out the form at the side of the page, and I very much look forward to serving you in every way that I can.